Good morning, and welcome to Cup of Joe with Poe. I am your host, Don Poe. Today we're going to talk about law enforcement and how it needs to be revamped. We really need to come to grasp with reality here. Okay, I'm going to be as clear as I can with this. This is really important. Society has a problem with the way we approach problems. First off, if I'm too small to do a job, why would someone send me to do it? Law enforcement, there shouldn't be men my size. There shouldn't be women doing that job when it comes to in the field dealing with crazy people. Prime example, not long ago, a man was at a gas station. He was having a mental episode. Okay, now I get upset over this stuff. So he's tearing the gas pumps apart. He's causing damage to this gas station. The cops show up. The male officer approaches. They have this gentleman under control. Now, as he's on the ground, the female officer you can hear the way she's talking. She's not fully aware that she's handling the situation the wrong way. She pushes the arm of the man up too high, and he starts to resist a little bit, and instead of being able to work with this individual, they want to fight with him, but the female officer doesn't. The male does, so he's interacting with him. She's standing there screaming at some point. This is how this takes place. Now, me and Tara we're able and physical enough that we could restrain someone. We can, the both of us. We're very strong people because we do a lot. Okay, so why didn't she get down there and help restrain him? Why did she not help? Instead, she stood back and yelled to the point where she got herself so worked up, she pulled her firearm out and killed this guy in the parking lot. Said, "I'm going to shoot you." Obviously, lady, he tore the gas pumps up. Do you think he's listening in the right state of mind to understand that if I keep doing this, I might die because you're going to shoot me with a gun? Not to mention, maybe he does hear you and he's thinking in his mind like, there's no fucking way you're going to shoot me. I don't have a gun. I'm just wrestling around with this other guy. At what point did she think it was justified to shoot this man 2 times and kill him in the parking lot? That's what I'm saying. It never would have happened if 2 big burly men would have showed up and said, "Look, dude, this, and this. You're messed up. You're going to jail right now for this damage." As soon as he started putting a fight up, they didn't need a gun. They didn't need a taser. They didn't need anything but these. Because they're trained and they're very big men that grab the individual, twist him up the way he needs to be twisted up, and if he continues to fight and continues to act crazy, then discipline him on the spot as you would a child, because that's what you're dealing with, someone with a child's mind frame. When you are young and you start ingesting chemicals into your body that will mess up the chemical balance you have going on in your brain, a lot of times you will stay that age. If you started smoking weed and experimenting with drugs at like 15, 16 years old, and at that point you can become stuck in that age frame. Now, you can definitely grow out of it and progress out of it. So we have a society full of children, adult children, that feel either you can't tell me, or I tell you, or there's just so many different ways people think. But when it comes to law enforcement and it comes to dealing with people that have become not anarchists, but they have become so out of control that they're unfit to just be in society. So now that I'm going to finish this whole equation here of how this works. Now that these officers that are well trained, they're polite, they're nice, they're not even aggressive about it. They're able to do this because they are so big and strong. What's this guy going to do? Now let's throw scenarios in here. Next, let's say guy pulls a knife out. Okay, so he's got this knife about this big. Once again, these are big, burly, trained men. Now, they're going to get paid a little bit more, too. Sorry about that. We're in a higher altitude, and it's messing with my sinuses a little bit. Now, let's say they pull a knife out. Oh, no. The guy's got a knife. I'm not talking about a machete. I'm talking about real life. Like, I know people pull machetes and shit like that, too, but you'll pretty much know before you get there. Let's say he pulls a knife out. Guess what? The cops have billy clubs again. What? Why would you give the cops? If they already have a gun that is the most lethal, life-taking thing there is, they have a gun, right? What the hell is I would rather be beat with a billy club than shot with a gun. So make that make sense. And them pussy-ass tasers they give them, man, amp that goddamn thing up or something. Give them redesign. I want to redesign something for law enforcement. As a matter of fact, it's already been designed. It's in the movie Judge Dredd. Here we go. That's all we need. We need law enforcement to operate similar to Judge Dredd. Okay? Imagine this. Woman turns the corner. Next thing you know, a pack of fucking pieces of shit grab the woman up, and they're doing the most horrific things you can imagine, right? No. An elderly lady. Even worse. Your grandma. And these are sick, savage, disgusting individuals. Not only did they rob grandma, but they're doing, I'm not going to say what they're doing. You have an imagination. Now, they've already done this before. And they keep doing this. And they keep preying on those people. Well, Judge Dredd, he comes by and he's like, jumps out. There is no freeze, stop. What do you do? None of that. Just bam, bam, bam. Just gets to beating these motherfuckers. Like beating them savagely. And has that shock thing on the end of the stick. That's what I'm talking about. That's where I was trying to go with this. A billy club with a stick, but there's more. There's like a morality issue, more of a judgment on the spot. In the act of this said violence, incident, whatever it is, between the initial act and the incarceration, the freedom, the waiting to go to court, in between that time, the more time that something passes, the less passion you have for the moment, the less, and you would say, well, no, you'll act the wrong way that way. Will you? Honestly, will you? I know I can act on my emotions immediately because they're true, because I've finally fixed my insides and up here mentally. So if that time goes on and progresses, they forget. They find more excuses. They get more reasoning. They build their case basically to say, hey, this is why I'm a piece of shit. And guess what? I'll never be a piece of shit again. Very rarely do those people not be pieces of shit again. I did 8 years in prison and went from 2 to 3 close, back down to 2, 1. I traveled around the state. I've seen multiple different situation scenarios and anything you can imagine within that 8 years. It's a long time straight. 8. Now it's not get out and go back, get out. No, I did 8 years straight. So within that time, I would say 85 to 90% of the people in prison are pieces of shit and deserve to be there. And definitely 25 to 30% of them should never leave them buildings because they're not reformed. They're not reforming nobody in there. It's a giant party. They drink and do drugs and fuck each other in prison. It's horrible. And now the guards can't even put their hands on them no more. That's the problem. We don't have physical punishment anymore. Once they start doing away with death penalties and stuff like that and just keeping bodies alive in prison just to sit in there and rot away after they did some of the most despicable shit you can imagine on earth. Why? Who? What? Now, mind you, I'm a humanitarian. Definitely. Like, literally, I am a humanitarian. Not to mention I'm a pacifist too. So for me to say these things, and when I say pacifist, I don't mean that I'm, what's that, an objective, I'm not a pussy. Them people that are like, no, I will never take a life, no matter what. Okay, well then go on and die with the other people that said that too, and they stood there and watched themselves be unalived. Yeah, not gonna happen here. Okay, living in reality. Self-preservation is everything, and it should be, and it always will be, because it's built in your fucking brain and your DNA. There's some click or flaw in them people if they're that far gone to say, my life isn't important enough, I can just go ahead and let somebody take mine. Wow. Well then, what are you even here for in the first place? Get that out of your mind. Make sure you save your own life, no matter what, because the most important thing is your life. If you have offspring, then be that champion that, will defend yourself to save your offspring. That's very, very, very brave of someone, and I'm not finding the proper wording here, but because I'm losing track of the topic. The police need revamped, okay? Sure. I'm not saying that women are lesser than men when it comes to doing jobs, but I'm living in reality and saying, yes, men are stronger than women. You will find the exception to the rule. You will find a woman that is very big and strong and like, and she's really a woman. She's not even a dude. I mean, I've met some of them. I met a few women in my lifetime that beat the shit out of me and you at the same goddamn time. Literally. Very rare you meet that or see that throughout life. Women create life. Women nurture life. Okay, women are the most important thing in a society in order for it to continue, because without women, and we're not cloning people, they might be somewhere. I hope they're not. And if they are, I hope it's for the right purposes. I could see these rich people just cloning themselves and being able to take those organs or something, or wait until the day when they can transplant their brain and conscious and everything into that other self of them and just be young forever. Sounds amazing, honestly. I'm shocked. I'm pretty sure they probably already do this kind of shit. Whatever. So, law enforcement needs to really step it up and realize that they need to send these big men out there to do that job. Because who really does do the brunt of things when it comes down to it? When you picture a soldier running into battle, like charging into battle, I don't picture a woman running into battle. I don't. I'm not saying that they shouldn't or won't, but that's not what I picture. I picture Rambo or something. You know what I mean? Men can run faster, jump higher, do all these different things, and the testosterone that we have helps us get that extra little tenacity, that what we call man strength, okay? So why would we send the women that are supposed to be taking care of the children, bearing children, all that, why would we send them into harm's way when they're not even physically capable of taking care of the situation or problem? Do you think 2 female cops are going to show up and make a man do something? I mean, seriously? If he doesn't want to physically? So then it turns into now they have to exercise more force by using weapons that it seems like they're not even trained to use properly. I see another video where these women shot the guy that called them in the leg because he came around the corner. He did have a knife, but he was pointing and even saying, the guy's going up here, knife's down. He ain't even got pointing at her or nothing. And she just shot him, popped him. They could have just stopped and talked to him or backed him up, whatever. Use your taser. You're wearing goddamn body armor. You're getting paid money to go do this. Why are you scared to get stabbed? Why are you scared to fight somebody if you're getting paid money to do it? That is just brain-boggling to me, that that's some sort of scapegoat for them not to do their fucking job. If your job is to show up and deal with somebody that's out of control, then goddamn it, deal with them. If that means you got to fist fight them and all that shit, then fucking do it. Quit being a pussy about it. Show up to your job and say, hey, look, motherfucker, you got warrants because you beat the shit out of somebody, your old lady, and you owe child support. Maybe it's just some fucked up individual. And they go, fuck you, bitch. You ain't taking me to jail. Oh, yeah? Billy Club, shock time. Blah, 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 right? Why? Why are we saying, no, you can't do that? Why? Because he deserves not to be done like that. Oh, does he? Well, maybe his wife didn't deserve to get beaten half to death and lose her eye and the children. Whatever, man. I'm just making up the craziest shit off the top of my head I can think of, right? But you already know what's going on out in the world. There's people that are eating babies. Like, you think that's a lie? Look it up. I guarantee there's somebody that's fucking just not long ago probably ate a goddamn baby. And guess what they did to that fucking sick person? They put him in a jail or something. No, get rid of them. Get rid of them. Why is society so scared to just clean it up? Clean this fucking place up. There's people that should be left alone. There's people, homeless should be left alone if they want to be homeless, right? But once they reach a level where they're unable to take care of themselves, where they're cognitively in such a decline, they are literally playing at poop and all that shit, put them in a facility. Put them in a facility. Build the goddamn mental hospitals that we need right now. Get these pharmaceutical companies the fuck up out of everybody's business with their, yeah, sure, you're depressed. Oh, I got a drug for you. Quit letting people get addicted to benzos and what's the other one? The Percocet ones and all them different pills and shit that they keep dishing out to everybody. Man, they have so many different ways to deal with things that are organic that you don't even know is available. Instead, they're a billion pharmaceutical company. Psychiatrists, I'm at the point where they just need to do away with them or go back into there and say, hey, look, clean your shit up. I can go in, and I've done it before, and I've already proved it and showed you guys. Guidestone and Zeph Center, both. You can go in there and tell them what you want, and they'll give it to you. So basically, I can go diagnose myself. I can go in there and tell you what I want drug-wise, and you'll give it to me. Unreal. Instead of sitting down with a psychotherapist who says, all right, it's going to take a couple sessions, but we're going to get through this, talk to that person, assess that person, try to fix the person's problem. Like I use all the time, Big Jimbo comes in a goddamn dress, says, my name's Jennifer, with a full beard and fucking bright red lipstick. The fuck out of here. Wipe this shit off your face and put some pants on. Period. Because Big Jimbo's like, hey, they're making fun of me. They won't acknowledge that I'm a woman. Well, no shit, dummy. You got a goddamn ding-dong swinging between your legs. Quit trying to trick people. That's another problem. These motherfuckers tricking people. Tricking people, literally. You know how many shows and episodes you see where it's like, went out on a date with this chick and it was serious, and about the third date, then she tells me she's a man. I feel this way and that way, and people are mad like, so why are you being that way? Wait, are you serious? Because he was tricked, dummy? God damn. Why is society so fucking scared to hurt somebody's feelings anymore either? Man, if you people had to live with my dad, a sociopath, you don't talk about getting your feelings hurt and getting your ass whooped. Builds character. Instead, we have a army of robot phone kids that walk around. Everything is a video game or a phone conversation through a text. It's quite a shame. We need to clean this all up. But when it comes down to law enforcement, it's time for women to go into the other areas of law enforcement that already work there. Get these. They should have definitely a fitness criteria. Definitely. There is, excuse me again, apologize because of the altitude and the weather and everything going on right now. Listen, if your job is to show up and you may have to be physical with another person, then you should definitely be more in shape than regular people. more in shape than regular people. A cop should show up and they should be able to literally sprint and run really fast. Like, okay, they should be able to show up and grab somebody and literally manhandle them. Their gut shouldn't get in the way of anything ever. They should be able to do pull-ups, push-ups, dips, squats. They should literally have to keep themselves in shape or they're subject to lose their job. Raise their pay and raise all the criteria in order to be a police officer. That's what they need to do, along with mental assessments that are done properly, not where the individual feels like they're under attack or that they're doing something wrong because they're doing their goddamn job or in fear of being sued because some idiot thinks that it's okay for them not to stop with the cop on the hood. Did you see that one? The guy gets shot. I don't think the cop should have shot him either. All you had to do was get his tags, and they could have just went to his house and said, you know what, man, whatever. But on the other end, what if he'd have just took off and floored it? Then the cop would have flew off into traffic and got ran over. Shit's nuts. Stop. Quit fighting the police anyways. I mean, really, if you don't break the law, you ain't got nothing to worry about, first off. So there's nothing to sweat. If you get pulled over for something, if you're having a bad day, put yourself in check and say, let me get through this second here of interaction, license, registration, everything's under control. And if it's not, guess what? Oh, I did wrong. Okay, all right, well, how can we, really, you got to tow the car? No way, no other way, polite, nice, no? All right, well, I guess that's just how it goes. You get in the car and you go and do your thing. It's so much easier. Have you ever been maced? I have. You don't want to get maced. Because here's the outcome. You can go peacefully and do the things that need to be done if you know you're in the wrong. If you know you're in the wrong, right? If you know you're right, then go ahead and fight. I'm not going to go against that. If you know 100% that you're right, but live in reality. So many people. I did nothing. Oh, you didn't, did you? Oh, I couldn't do that? Like simple things that people should know you can't do and then just try to act dumb about it. Police need to police a little bit stronger. I'm sorry. And when it comes to drug dealers, I think that they should have a unwritten code that if they bust certain kind of drug dealers that are like fentanyl dealers, the dealers that are literally the leeches of society, the real leeches. Listen. Somebody on welfare, a woman on welfare with a couple kids that she had, that's not a leech of society at all. That's somebody that's literally in need of help. They just have to structure it properly and get on or just help them. We have enough in this world and in this society that we can help those people that refuse to conform but are still polite and are still able to cognitively live in society and have good morals and issues and things like that, or good morals about themselves. But on the other end, the people that refuse to conform and all that stuff, they just need to deal with them in a different manner. Don't give to those. I had a really good point I was just trying to make, and I can't believe I forgot, just to go deeper to make it better. And that's where I'm going to get off here, because we're at that point. This has been Cup of Joe with Poe. And the main topic here was basically policing. The police need to show up, and they need to be 6'1". They need to be motherfucking wrestling, bodybuilding, looking, ex-military, whatever. And they need to show up, and they need to deal with the problem properly. Not show up and start shooting people. I'm not saying police show up and shoot people, because I am pro law enforcement. I am pro military. I'm for structure. I want society to function properly. But for whatever reason, we have another class of society, culture-wise, and I used to be wrapped up in this myself. I was a product of flawed culture that I was following. I was following this whole new anarchist, I'm not going to conform to society, and, mind you, people will dig deep into that, and we could really do that, and we could break down what was going on in society at that time to make people feel the way they did, and the way they received that information through what outlet and and the imagery that was coming through that box called the TV back then, and over the radio in the car as we drove, instead of the phone that just does everything now. They reinvent gods, by the way, and AI is their next god in motion here. Somehow they're gonna come up with something that's gonna just blow your mind beyond belief. Pay attention. Get out here in the world. Do something. Build something with your hands. But whatever you do, don't crush your fingers so the meat comes out. All right? You don't want to do this. Be careful when you're working.